Hi everyone! So, as promised, I am going to talk today about the trainers that I bought, which I said were probably the most expensive item of clothing that I've bought in a while. So a little bit of background on these. Basically, I was looking for some new trainers anyway, and my old Nikes, which are about 5 years old at this point, they were starting to get to the point where the soles were wearing quite thin. So I thought
that's usually when you buy new shoes, to be fair.
That's the point that I buy new shoes. So I don't really buy them very often, but I do a lot of research when I buy them. So anyway, coincidentally, I saw this advert on Instagram for this company that I'd never heard of. I saw these and I saw their website and I saw that they were focused on cutting down the environmental impact of their trainer production. So when I had a look on their website, I thought these might be the kind of shoes for me. I really like the way that they look.
Yeah, I think they just look nice. They just look quite kind of smart, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're not massively into the big boxy trainers or massively cool trainers. So I think they're just a nice shoe, aren't they?
I think they look quite cool, but they're not like over the top. So
they're not like those ones with the lights that you used to have as a kid.
I would love some lights, but that's for a different time. I took the plunge and I bought these, and they don't sell them directly in the UK, so it's just online orders. So I think I paid something like, I think it was like 160 euros, something like that. So obviously you've got to account for the exchange rate in the country that you're in. Plus, I imagine now there's probably an import tax. I'm not 100% sure. It's probably worth checking the website. The biggest thing to me was I thought that was really cool is all of the different materials that they're made from. Each pair of these are made out of, and it says it on the label, each pair of them are made out of 6 recycled plastic bottles.
Correct.
The laces, I think, are also made from recycled plastic bottles. And the soles are made from recycled rubber combined with fair trade rubber. I think it's something like 70% recycled and 30% like virgin rubber.
And it's recyclable when you're done.
As it says on the side, it's 100% recyclable. Not only that, but they also plant 2 trees for every pair of shoes that you buy to offset the carbon emitted from the production of it. And talking about the production of it, these are made, I think, predominantly in Portugal. I think the laces are made in France, something like that. And I think the labels are made in Italy. So they're all coming from pretty close regions, and I think, they finally get assembled in Portugal.
Yeah.
So it's not like they've travelled a long way. They've not come all the way from China, which most trainers do come from.
Yeah, I think that's something you don't really think about as well. I think when you hear made in China, you think of that more from being the low end shops. You don't really think that a lot of the nicer goods you buy, like you said, like the Nikes and stuff, a lot of them have come from places really far away from that, like that. And there's obviously the massive carbon emissions involved with that. I think it's something people are more and more bothered about now as well.
I think my Nikes, they were something like £80 or something, which I mean, obviously it depends on who you are and sort of what you think is expensive. But when I buy a pair of shoes or any item of clothing for that matter, I always look to get something that's definitely suited to me and high quality enough that I know it's going to last.
Probably coming from your background and product design and all of that, I think that's something you've always been quite ahead of almost of, and you're I want it to last. Whereas I think a lot of people now are making that kind of transition. I mean, it's something that I do more and more. I mean, I think I mentioned in a previous video about my Doc Martens that I've had. I looked it up, I've had them for 7 or 8 years now, which is pretty good going for a shoe. And it's about buying. A lot of people are more bothered now about buying a few items that will last, because it's nice to know that you're not kind of killing the environment, but also it's a lot easier for you.
Yeah, it's so much easier to manage. We're obviously at uni at the moment, and in the past few years we've moved obviously from different houses, but also with lockdown and with Christmases and having 2 sets of parents, we moved back and forward so many times, and we've realised that just the sheer amount of clothes and things like that to move, it's really helped us paring back what we own.
Yeah,
and just sort of looking after those few like things that you actually make use of, and they don't just sit there in the back of a wardrobe.
I think it's nice to have, and that doesn't mean that you can never I don't think it means that you can never buy new and nice things. I don't think it's that at all. I think it's just taking the kind of time to consider what you're buying and the kind of bigger picture of that and how that kind of also fits into your life. because it's easier when, like we said, when you're moving, but also when you're deciding what to wear.
Yeah.
Because we've only got like a few good things that kind of go together.
Yeah. Both of us have been making more of an effort recently, and I'm sure a lot of you will have seen online lots of promotion of trying to buy more sustainably or buy locally, all of that kind of thing. And we both have been more and more aware of trying to do that, and it's not easy at the minute. Like, admittedly, there's not like that many different shops,
course.
but once you find a place and you learn a little bit about it, and it doesn't take long to do a little bit of research, it really helps.
I think the word research is a little bit kind of like scary. It makes you think that you're like reading loads of like research papers like you are like for uni and stuff.
Yeah, but it's way easier these days.
It's just looking at people's like Instagram and stuff. Like most brands now have like an Instagram, and they'll have kind of like a testimony on there, and you just get a bit of a feel for them. And I think
getting a feel for the company is really important. And a lot of brands, nowadays, a lot of newer brands, they're all focusing more on what their purpose is, as like, especially clothes brands. Like, why do they exist? And for example, Lucy and Yak is one that you've bought into recently.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's there's kind of a group of people that have discovered Lucy and Yak. They are a bigger company now.
Yeah, they're based in, is it Brighton, or they have a shop in Brighton?
Yeah, they have a big shop in Brighton. I've not actually been to the shop yet because, pandemic and all, but I can't wait to go. But yeah, my jacket I'm wearing right now is them, and I think it's just their items. They're not for everyone. It's very kind of colourful, and it's the idea of like, it's almost a bit kind of whimsical, isn't it? But it's wearing things that you like, that make you smile. It's not following kind of trends, because I think the thing is with trends, I think we're all guilty of following. And you look back on some things you wore now as a kid, and you're like, oh god, really? Why did my mum dress me in those like 3/4 length shorts? That wasn't a good look.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so buying more kind of things that you just like because you like them, not because they're following a trend. And I think, especially like I said with Lucy and Yak, I really like it. It makes me smile, and I think that's a big thing about clothing.
That's a huge thing. And I think as everybody tries to move to more sustainable lifestyles in general, I think it is really important, especially with clothes, to really, like, when you're buying something, really consider it and really think about it. Like, I spent so long looking at these shoes, and coincidentally, so the ones that I've got, you'll see they've got they're completely black. Like, they've got the black soles. Now, when I first started following this company, they didn't make ones with black soles, and to me, I've seen a lot of shoes, and I've had shoes in the past where they've got white soles and they get so dirty.
It's just you being Mr. Practical again.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I am super practical, so this was something that was important to me. I actually messaged them on Instagram to see if they were going to come out with a pair with black soles, and they got back to me immediately. And I think, obviously, they're quite a small company. If you check them out, I think they've got a few thousand followers on Instagram, but the fact that they took the time to respond to me and talk to me, and I've messaged them about other questions and things like that, and they took the time to respond to me, and I think that really makes a difference when you're looking to buy something.
I think it's nice because you feel almost like a bit more of a kind of connection with the company as well, don't you? You don't feel like they're just kind of like exploiting you for your money or whatever.
Yeah, it's not just like a massive.
You see a person. Brand. I think that's a big thing. But yeah, I think a lot of places are kind of heading that way. But like you said, obviously they're a small brand, but like Lucy and Yak are quite a big brand now.
Yeah,
like,
they're pretty well established.
Yeah,
now,
they're pretty well established, and they're still like that on Instagram. Like, they respond so quickly to any messages and stuff like that. And it is more important. It's more kind of personable experience. But obviously that kind of depends on what you like. But yeah, I think that's kind of what we wanted to touch on this video. Kind of sustainable fashion and moving away from the like quick fashion and stuff like that, and fast fashion. And I think, especially on Instagram, fast fashion's such a massive industry that most YouTubers you watch are like in some way linked to it. And they're doing hauls where they're spending like £300 or something.
Quite often they'll go and send that, like, as soon as they've received those clothes, done a try-on video and stuff like that, they'll then just go and return all of it or sell it on Depop. And don't get me wrong,
that's like the worst thing.
Yeah, like I think Depop's great, and I think websites that you can sell on your old clothes that you're not interested in anymore are great. But I think you've got to be considerate about what you're doing, and if you're buying loads of clothes to then sell a load of your old stuff, and you're going through this cycle of buying and selling loads of your clothes constantly, it's not as good as it seems.
Yeah.
So I think that's...
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point about like Depop and things like that, because I think that's the way a lot of YouTube, especially YouTubers I watch, that's kind of how they justify it.
Yeah.
Another argument I hear a lot is that, oh, buying things sustainably is so much more expensive. That's not true.
Yeah,
because if you're investing in a good piece. I appreciate not everyone has like a couple of £100 to spend on a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Like, of course they don't, but not all sustainable fashion is like that. There's a lot of brands that sell just like t-shirts and things that are just like the same price as you would pay in like a normal shop, say. But yeah, I think it's more of, I think the problem like currently with like fast fashion and people moving away from it is they almost want kind of like a one in one out swap.
Yeah.
And you're never gonna kind of achieve that. You're never gonna swap them one in one out. It's a whole kind of attitude change.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that's headed in the right direction.
And it gets cheaper and cheaper the more people that buy into it. So
exactly. I think more and more, especially like obviously this last year we've not been going anywhere, so who are you dressing to impress? I think a lot of more people are looking at things that they like and things that they're comfortable in as well, because I mean a lot of people are guilty of, I was guilty of it. I would wear jeans just to go out and I would take them off straight away when I got in because they weren't comfy. I'm like, what's the point in that? I think you've always kind of wanted things that are comfy, but I think what is the point in that? Surely you should be comfy and confident. You should have, another massive thing is have clothes that fit you, don't make yourself fit clothes, which is a quote I saw like a while ago and it really kind of resonated with me. I think there's a lot of pressure to be like a certain size or a certain shape and like just be you, basically. I think that's
so important.
Yeah, I think that is important.
So we'll probably do a few more videos on these kinds of topics in the future. But thank you for watching, and if you've liked the video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this.
Yeah, and just all sorts really. We'll see what comes.
See you in the next one. Bye.
2, 1. Hi everyone!
No, we say hey everyone. We don't
no,
say
it's
hi.
Hi. It's hi. We don't say hi.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready?